guys, it's Kay from Kayesanonymous, and today I am back with another episode of r/AskReddit. Today's question is, what is the stupidest thing that someone has been fired for in your workplace? I work at a candy factory. There was a recall due to the toy inside a candy egg having small parts, causing a choking hazard for little kids. We were breaking the egg to reuse the chocolate and trashing the toy. Most workers would take some home in their pockets, but a coworker had the bright idea of taking a 2-foot square box of them, opening a fire exit, setting off the alarm, and then trying to pick it up after his shift was over. The plant manager waited for him inside and surprised him when he went to pick it up. Guy I worked with sold advert space in a wildlife magazine. Got the Tourism Board of China to pay for him to fly out and basically have a super fancy free trip because he promised they'd get a several-page write-up in the magazine. Dude came back, just told work people he was off on holiday, and not long after, the Chinese officials were getting in touch about where their editorial piece was. I love how this guy doesn't really think that there's going to be any consequences for his shenanigans. Maybe he was planning on quitting already, I don't know. I had to fire a guy from my gas station about 5 years ago. He worked the night shift and was great for over a year. He was 35-ish, recovering alcoholic. One day, he started playing some game on his phone and it quickly became a problem. He wouldn't do anything else, not even look at the customers he was ringing up. I told him countless times, I need you to focus on customers. If the store is empty, then play on your darn phone. Anyways, he couldn't, so I let him go. A few days later, his mother comes to me crying. Turns out she was in the hospital for the past month and he had racked up $50,000 in credit card debt on a Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans. He spent $50,000 just to get fired. Yikes. I guess that's the example of having an addictive personality. I worked for a small consultancy. During my first week, I discovered that no one had been there for more than a year, save for senior management. It was unsettling to hear, especially since they claimed that the company was nearly 15 years old. In the second week there, I began to understand why no one lasted longer than a year. The wife of the CEO decided, whenever it suited her, that she could change anyone's job title from developer to dishwasher at the drop of a hat. One of the ladies that had started with me refused, and she was easily let go. The cleaning lady was fired because she didn't smile enough. A guy was fired for having had his laptop stolen out of his car, another for spilling coffee on a laptop, and another was almost fired because his wife went on a Facebook rant about how unfair the company was for threatening to fire him from work if he did not check himself out of the hospital and come back to work. They cited that his stay at hospital was purely observational and not because his life was in danger. This place was, and probably still is, the worst place that any human being could ever work. I went back to my previous employer after just 3 months because the constant threat of being fired in conjunction with the horrendous working conditions were too much for me. I'm just surprised these people are still in business. When you treat your employees like crap over and over and over, how they've managed to be in business for 15 years is beyond me. Had a coworker forge my boss's signature on a form to collect welfare. We are parts countermen for a Ford dealership and made really good money. We are paid mostly by group commission, so our weekly checks are small. This guy was recently brought up to the counter, making much more than he did in his previous position, and he was doing really well, really becoming a good counterman. But he decided to scam some welfare by putting down only his salary, forged my boss's signature, and turned it in. A few weeks later, the state called my boss and asked him why the amount he put down for this employee didn't match his W-2. My boss was obviously confused, having never known about this, so he asked them to fax him a copy. Not only was it not his signature, the dude spelled my boss's last name wrong. Not only did he not get welfare, which in this state forging this document prevents you from getting assistance later on, he also lost his job. And that's why we shouldn't be greedy or do illegal things, because this is the kind of consequences that you get. Farting. Not the sole reason, but a factor. I don't know what this dude ate, but his gas was unbearable. Everyone had to step outside until the room aired out. Production was definitely affected. I have two where the person fired was pretty stupid and one where the company was pretty stupid. They all happened at the same place. The first one, a guy who made $16 an hour got fired for stealing a $1 candy bar from near the cash registers. Obviously, there are a crap ton of cameras aimed at the registers, so how he thought he would get away with this is beyond me. The second one, a guy on the night crew was fired for building a fort out of boxes of product and then taking a nap in it. When his boss shook him awake and asked him what the crap he thought he was doing, he claimed that he just fell asleep. Boss's response was, "You built a freaking fort." The third one, an older lady got fired for calling out a shoplifter when she saw him trying to steal crap. I can understand the company logic that they don't want employees to put themselves in danger by confronting a shoplifter, but he was literally pocketing merchandise right in front of her. She had also worked there for like 20 years and was a super valuable employee, and it's not like she tried to tackle him or something. I have to admit, the first time I read the second guy building the fort, I laughed really hard. Guy in a GPS company vehicle was filling jerry cans of gas from company gas pump, monitored by CTV, and then driving down the docks to fill his boat. Got fired for it same year as his daughter was doing co-op. She quit out of shame. He lost his job, his house, his wife, and his relationship with his daughter. Last I heard, he was living with his mother. To be fair, he had multiple in-office affairs, wore Disney brand clothes, and insisted on wearing open-toed shoes in the office. I mean, apparently the Disney brand clothes is on par with having in-office affairs, but okay. I work in a hospital. A patient care tech once got fired because he took a clean linen sheet from the patient unit and used it as a toga for a party. Everyone found out because he posted it on social media. No, I don't have the pictures. I wish I did. A janitor got fired because he told a doctor to put their empty cup in the garbage can and not on top of the can. The doctor said he can put the can wherever he wants. The janitor told the doctor to please put his cup in the trash. Since the doctor got offended at being told to put his trash where it belongs, he complained and moaned at the janitor's boss. Doing this got the janitor fired before the day ended. A nurse got fired because she kept marking down that all of her patients had the same vital signs. Wouldn't that put someone's life in danger? Possibly if she just said that everyone had the exact same vital signs and they didn't, and it marked that for some reason there was an abnormality? Yeah, definitely a fireable offense. And also that doctor's a jerk. The company I work for had 2 offices in different towns. The guy who was employed to run the other office was completely useless and lazy. He barely knew how to switch on a computer, let alone do anything useful on it. There were other issues, such as him leaving to go shopping in the middle of the day and leaving the office unattended, but the straw that broke the camel's back was the invoices. Pretty much his only job was to create invoices. The program we use to create them literally walks you through it. Box for customer name, next. Box for customer phone number, next. Box for postal code, next. It even automatically finds the address, so all you have to do is select the correct door number from a drop-down menu. He was given numerous training days on it. He was talked through it on the phone. He just could not manage to fill in a few boxes. In the 4 months I worked with him, he didn't once complete one. I just want to know how he managed to keep that job for 4 months if he never even did his job for 4 months. At my old job, an IT guy and his boss were setting up a new cubicle. The IT guy dropped a monitor and it was destroyed. Out of nowhere, he went into this rant at his boss about how he wasn't going to pay for this and included all kinds of curse words. The manager just stood there, stone-faced, waited for him to finish, and said something like, "Legally, we can't make you pay for that since it was an honest mistake, but since you just cussed me out, you're fired." Dude hated his workmate, who happened to be in the Army Reserves at the time. Dude writes an anonymous email to the Army stating that his workmate was mentally unfit for the Army. Dude signs off the email as anonymous, however, the email address was his full name at his ISP. Dude got fired shortly after for bullying. And the mentally unfit one here is... Manager. You need to promise me you won't do that again. Soon to be fired temp worker. Can't do that. Context. I worked in a pharmaceutical production factory. I saw this temp worker pick his nose and wipe it on a production line. The production line was packing medicine for people with obliterated immune systems. I guess this was more the stupidest thing that someone has done and been fired for. How can you not promise your manager that you won't pick your nose and wipe it on the production line? Come on, people. My twin brother and I used to work for the same company. My twin got into an altercation with a client, and although the matter was resolved, that client had enough clout with the manager that he demanded my twin be let go. And because we were twins and happened to look enough alike, I was also let go. I don't feel like that's legal, but okay. Worked with a dude that was fired from the dead cow factory for balancing a 12-foot stepladder on his chin. Knew another dude that was fired from a hog confinement for riding pigs. Yeehaw. Alright, and that is actually going to end today's episode. I didn't want to do too much commentary on this just because it is responses that are pretty short to an AskReddit, and I've seen so many interesting AskReddits floating around the internet, so I wanted to put an AskReddit out there again. So I wanted to do another AskReddit and hopefully bring a little bit more life to the answers because I do find them intriguing and interesting. But either way, let me know your thoughts about all of this and share any stories that you have about the stupidest thing people were fired for. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and drop a like, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye!